questions, yes.
Somebody said it's good to take like 2 tablespoons of melted coconut oil and down it every day.
It's a medium chain triglyceride oil. It's a great anti-inflammatory. If you have some underlying issue that's going on, and if coconut oil is beneficial, for sure.
Would it be good at energy food too, like for working out? Like
For athletes,
Yeah.
it works amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So take that before workout would be good?
But after. And then
After.
for recovery, it's a lot, you have a quicker recovery time.
Okay.
As for a medium chain triglyceride.
You mentioned inflammation a couple of times. How can an average person learn whether or not they're in chronic inflammation? What tests are available?
So what you can get done from your medical doctor is there's 2 blood tests. And one is called high sensitivity C-reactive protein. That tells you the inflammation in your body. The other test is a homocysteine marker. Those are 2 inflammatory markers in the body. It tells you if your body is underlying stress for whatever reason, or if there's inflammation in the body, or cholesterol is another big one to get tested, because there's many different types of cholesterol. LDL is what's known as your bad cholesterol. HDL is your good cholesterol. LDL is the one that if it is high, then you know you have inflammation in the body. And the reason for that is LDL cholesterol is your Band-Aid. 80% of the cholesterol in your body, the liver will make. So no matter what you do, diet and lifestyle, it's not going to change a thing. It's the liver that determines how much cholesterol your body needs. So if you're someone that has high levels of C-reactive protein, for example, which is an inflammatory marker, that means you have a lot of cuts and scratches potentially in the arteries. Then what will happen is that cholesterol will then go up because the cholesterol is a Band-Aid. It has to go now, fix that cut here, fix this scratch that's over here. The more cuts and scratches you have to fix, the more cholesterol goes up. So it's not just about taking your statin to drop the cholesterol, so decreasing overall body's inflammation so that your liver's need for making all that cholesterol is no longer there.
So white blood cell count,
Yes.
does that indicate low-grade chronic inflammation? Can you use any of those markers for it? Or is it only for acute inflammation?
It's not really inflammation, it's more for acute infections.
Infections.
Yeah, so if you have, there's 5 actually different types of white blood cell markers. One's called neutrophils, one's called monocytes, lymphocytes, basophils, eosinophils. Neutrophils tells you if your body is actually suffering from bacterial infection, but it's acute. So if you've just got a sickness or you've had food poisoning or something like that, for example, you can get your CBC, which is called a complete blood count, which gives you your different white blood cell markers to see if it's a parasite, if it's a viral infection, or if it's a bacteria that your body has. So depending which of those white blood cell count will be elevated will tell you what is it that you're suffering from. So if it's high neutrophils, then you know it's a bacterial infection. If it's monocytes, you know it's a viral infection. If it's basophils or eosinophils, you know it's a parasite that your body's fighting.
So one of the things that I've noticed with the medical profession is they're kind of hand-tied to having MSP paid for certain tests without fitting certain criteria. So it's not that easy, is it, to go to a medical doctor and just ask them to get all these tests done? So
Not usually.
Right.
It depends
So
on your practitioner.
what can a person do? What are they looking at?
So either you need to try and find a doctor that's going to do this for you, or you come to someone like me, where unfortunately you do have to pay, but then at least you know exactly where you stand physiologically. Can I say that word today? Where you're standing to see where your inflammatory markers are. So there are options for you, and I find lots of patients who have your extended health plans. Some of them cover them, some of them don't. It really depends on your individual provider.
So one of the things that I've noticed is a lot of individuals wait till they get sick before they go and get something checked. I believe that if you're healthy and you're feeling strong and good, to go get your markers done as a reference point for as you age and as you go through different stress levels. That way your physician has something to compare to what's your normal range. Does that sound like a plausible approach?
That's what I tell absolutely everybody that walks through the door. It doesn't matter if you're 20 or 30 or 40, 50, 60. It's irrelevant how old you are. It's always good to get a baseline at some point in your life so that when something does go wrong or if something goes wrong, we know what your normal was. So it doesn't make sense to come when you're sick, because by that point, your body's already tried to tell you something for all these years, and then all of a sudden you are actually sick. You don't have to wake up one day and have a heart attack. It's something that is accumulated over your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, and then all of a sudden you wake up in your 50s, 40 years later, and something is happening. So it's an accumulation. In your 20s and 30s, I always recommend a baseline. You don't have to do it every year, by no means. You maybe, get a blood test done every 3 to 5 years to see, is there changes? If there's no changes, great, we go on trucking away, see you later 5 years from now. It's always important to get some type of baseline for your own body, for your own sanity. So if something does change 15 years later, or even 3 years later, if something changes, you know what happened. You know what your original normal was.
So for somebody who had food poisoning and has chronic diarrhea because of it, what tests would they get?
I would do an inflammatory test, so C-reactive protein or homocysteine, getting cholesterol checked, doing a CBC, which is a complete blood count, so seeing where the red blood cells are, where is the white blood cells, where is the platelets.
That could possibly, that whatever infection, it can possibly be stuck still in the liver.
Absolutely.
And cause problems forever, which is,
Definitely for a while.
I understand that, yeah, okay.
This is not a stupid question, but, well, sometimes they're stupid questions. So the regrowth of the liver, like if you stop something like Splenda or something that you've been, like a drinker or whatever, how long does it take? Does it depend again on how long it takes for the liver to regenerate? Is it like an every 6-year thing? If you're
It's actually really fast. And it takes anywhere from 3 to 6 months to regenerate. It's really quick.
So if you start, like if you had Splenda all day, every day for like 30 years,
30
of your
years.
life,
6 months, you should be back on track.
Really?
The liver is
Wow.
crazy. It is so awesome that we're good.
Well, alcoholics have that problem, don't they? And I heard the liver gets hard. Is that
That's right.
true? It gets a,
That's called cirrhosis of the liver, where
Yeah.
there's actually physical damage, where then the regrowth is almost not possible.
because I hear we can go down and just have 20% left and still live. I've
You
heard that.
absolutely can. Absolutely.
Have 80% destroyed, and still keep on trucking.
Well, I think you can
Absolutely.
live, but I don't know what quality
Yeah.
of life, I don't know. What kind of,
Yellow.
what kind of quality do you have with a 20% functioning liver?
Depends what you do with it. If you, with that 20%, if you make sure you don't have any Tylenol, you don't have any Advil, you're not taking any medication, you're just supporting that 20% that actually is there, you're protecting that 20%, there is no reason why you can't keep on going. You're just supporting your, whatever you have left, you baby it, you support it.
is it beneficial to eat liver?
No, no, it is not. The level of iron in like other organs is extremely high. So if you do choose to do that, fine, just make sure you get your iron checked every 6 months, because it will go through the roof. And then the storage then becomes a problem with storing the liver, storing the iron, sorry. Because iron too much, just like anything, too much of anything will destroy it.
So you've got this Vega product out. Why do you support so heavily Vega product?
The reason I like Vega is because it is an absolutely clean protein. I have no, by the way, financial affiliation. I just happen to like them personally and professionally. It's made with hemp seed, so it's not rice-based. I don't like rice-based for the reason that it lacks lysine. It's an incomplete protein, rice-based protein powders. Whey protein powders tend to, obviously its whey is from the cow. Depending on how the cow was treated and how they actually manufactured and came up with the whey protein is always questionable for me. And then soy is a very high allergen. That's why I'm not a big fan of soy. But this, I find Vega, it has got every amino acid that you need, especially for post-recovery after you exercise, and also to give you that energy pre-exercise as well. And if you're just an average person that only exercises a couple times a week, I find with the amount of protein that's actually in it is very beneficial to your overall liver health, your kidney health. You're helping to eliminate body toxins. It also helps your bowels as well.
Better results for training.
Yeah.
It's quite expensive though.
Well, I think about that, and I think about what it costs to go get those biomarkers, like your homocysteine and whatnot checked. And I often talk to people who say that to me, and I say, look, take an expense report of your life for a month, and look at how much stuff you spend on frivolous things or things that take 2 steps back in terms of nutritional health. Don't cut them out, but if you actually cut those in half for a month, you would find that the money for the personal trainer once a week, you would find the money for to go see the naturopathic physician. So a lot of people, you know, they think they eliminate completely. You don't have to. You just have to look at refinancing, you know, your expense report if you like. And then you start to notice that the few dollars more that it costs can easily be compensated for in your monthly budget.
True. Yeah.
Right? So I mean, that's how I get people involved in personal training, just once a week. Then they go off and do their homework. I help them find that money, which is being frivolously spent. You know, but I don't eliminate the fun stuff either. That team is fun. It's good stuff.
So like I said, a lot of interesting information there. So give their website a check. Check them out at infofit.ca and see what else they've got there, because you never know what you might find that you're interested in. They really do give out quite a bit of awesome information and put on these little talks quite often, a couple of times a month. So, you know, you never know, you might be interested in popping in on one and taking a look and for yourself and seeing what they've got to say when a good subject comes up that you're interested in. So anyway, I've got to fly. So we'll see you again soon. Take care.